everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on today. But before we get started, you know what we do and you know where we go to do it. Go down here, go in your settings, find your subscribe button, and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis. Oh, that algorithm. It has me by my neck and it's shaking me around like a dog shakes his toy. I'm telling you, I really would appreciate your help with that. Also, right about here, that is the join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my little channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I promise you, I will be so grateful, so very grateful for that support. Also, I have two shout outs. I do. One is for Deborah Copeland, who is such a great supporter of this channel. And I just want her to know that she is so greatly appreciated. She really is. And thank you for the super thanks, Deborah. Also, Tiger Mommy, thank you for seeing something in my little channel and saying that you wanted to support it. I really appreciate the super thanks. I really do. All right, with all that said, let's get to the read, y'all. Let's get to the read because I have so much. I've been in these internet streets most of the day, and I'm telling you, it is so much out there. I have so much to share. So buckle up because it is going to be bumpy. Let me tell you. I was over to Instagram. They are dragging Charles and his horse because we all know what's going on in Australia. Ooh, it is a lot of snubbing going on. You know, that's their favorite word, snubbing. They are snubbing Charles before Charles put his feet on one of the steps going up to his plane. He hadn't even boarded the plane, and Australia is saying, you don't have to bother, pretty much. And I love that. I love it for them. I do. I'm telling you. And of course, I went over to the dark side too. And you talking about people crying. Oh my God. And just, whew, they are trying, they are doing to Australia what they do to Meghan every day. Just absolutely trying to bully Australia into wanting Charles. And it is the funniest thing. I'm telling you, the crying, the whinging, the salty tears are delicious over there. They are delicious. And let's see where else I go. I didn't go to TikTok. I didn't go to TikTok today. But you know, I always go to X. It is not a day. I do not miss a day going being on X, formerly known as Twitter. And they are doing pretty much what they're doing on Instagram. And that is dragging Charles and his horse. And it is a beautiful thing. They're also reminiscing about when Harry and Meghan went to Australia on their oceanic tour. And we're going to reminisce a little bit later on. But yes, reminding them how a real tour is supposed to go. But Meghan and Harry reminded them, this year, two successful trips, and it's something that they can't do anymore. Because I saw on Loose Women, they were crying so hard on Loose Women. I'm telling you, I laughed so hard I had to hold my stomach. It was just delicious. I'm telling you. They were talking about since Australia was acting in such a rude manner, why, their question was, should the royals not go on royal tours anymore? I love it. I love it for them because look what Harry and Meghan done this year. They went to Nigeria, knocked it out the park, successful. They went to Colombia. knock it out the park, successful, and didn't have any of those rats and rodents and flying monkeys didn't have anything to do with it. And I just love it. I just love it. And most of the flying monkeys already done flew down to Australia trying to gaslight us into I saw what was his name, Russell Myers. Russell Myers. I saw him on the Today a panel on the Today Show down in Australia. And they were talking about how the streets are just buzzing with excitement because the king is coming, and how horrible and how rude it is that the politicians don't want to be involved in anything and or no show. And they just did the whole spiel and talking about. I saw on Sky News where they said they did a poll and the king is just so popular in Australia, just trying to gaslight us. And I just love it for them because nobody is buying that. They can put it up for sale all they want to, but it's gonna stay on the shelf. I'm just saying. Yeah, so that's pretty much what they're talking about. Also, another thing they're talking about on X is Glitter Magazine. Glitter Magazine is becoming a hero because, unlike other magazines, when you post oh nonsense, when anything that Meghan tries to be a part of, but this wasn't even, they were just reporting on Meghan. And then these trolls and these old hags got in their comments talking about why are you reporting on Meghan when Catherine, you should be reporting on her. She came out today and trying to tell this magazine who they need to be writing about and focusing on. I get that a little in my comments, but I let them know from get. Just like Glitter Magazine is pretty much letting them know that you are just not gonna come in my comments and act any kind of way. When one come in my comments, I warn them first and let them know, no, I'm not that girl. I'm not that one. I'm not the one that's gonna treat you nicely or just block you and not say anything to you. I tell them straight up, you can either leave. You got two choices, to leave or get your feelings hurt. Because I don't mind if you whatever whichever way you choose is fine with me. Because I am not that girl. This channel is not that channel. And I must say, everyone that I let them know what the deal is, they choose to leave, and I don't have any kind of problem with them. Now they might be, hate watching, but they just pack it up and go on about their business because I will absolutely, I'm not Michelle Obama. I'm not her. She's better than me. The same with Megan. Megan is better than me. When they go low, I go right there with them. I saw, I don't know, I don't think it was one of my commenters. I think it was a commenter on X said, when they go low, we go to the center of the earth. And that's about right for me. But all right, let's get started. I saw this on X, and like I said, they're talking about Glitter Magazine and how Glitter has chosen to handle all of these trolls and all of these hags coming in their comments because they chose to focus on Meghan and not Catherine that day when Megan came out, with her red dress. And they wanted to write about whoever they wanted to and whoever would bring in the eyeballs. But these people wanted to try to come in their comments and try to say ugly things and tell them what to write about and who to focus on. So this squatty, I'm gonna put it up. It says that she said this. I wish more publications were like Glitter Magazine. Me too. Me too. Call it out. The days of ignoring this type of behavior are gone. I think I said that many, many times. Yeah, that's why I started this channel because I never pretend I was going to be any kind of different. I never pretend that I was going to be this person who was going to take the high road when you are clearly on the low one. I never did pretend like I was going to be that way. And so finally, people are starting to come around to my way of thinking because when you are dealing with these kind of people, when you are dealing with gutter snipes, that's what they depend on. They depend on you allowing their behavior to go unchecked. No, not me. I'm checking that behavior. I am going to check it. And I really have to censor myself. Y'all know I do. Sometimes I have to be in mid sentence or mid thought, and I have to censor myself because I have to remember that I'm still here on YouTube. So I have to censor myself. But yeah, no, I'm not that girl. I'm not her. I'm not one just going to let you run off at the mouth and not check you, not to let you know and remind you where you at. That's me. And evidently it's Glitter Magazine too. And it says, and it said, days of ignoring this type of behavior are gone. You want to play with fire, your ASS will get scorched. I love it. And so Glitter, I want to say Glamour Magazine, but it's Glitter Magazine's response to all this nonsense in their comments. All these old ugly trolls and hags was to write an article in their magazine called Meghan Markle bullies match their I mean Meghan Markle's bully meet their match after new attacks online. This is the name of the story. All right. I'm gonna put it up. It says Meghan Markle's bullies meet their match after new attacks online. And meaning y'all got the right one. Y'all got the right one today. Today you got the right one because I got time for you. And Glitter Magazine said I got time for you today. And so basically, what it does is to go into, November 27th is 2017 when Harry and Meghan went in the sunken garden at Kensington Palace and announced their engagement. And of course, Harry was one of the most eligible bachelors in the world. And of course, a lot of people attached a lot of things to him. Evidently, all the ugly women in the world thought for some reason he was going to marry them because they got pissed when he married a beautiful woman of color. They got pissed. They absolutely did and feel like it was an affront to them. Because I'm telling you, everyone that I see, all these front facing trolls on this app and TikTok and stuff like that, they are hags, to say the least. And I'm telling you, I don't understand why they so mad because Harry would not have. He said the belt, the Surveyor belt, broke with Meghan. Surveyor belt with them, he would have got on top of it and used it like it was a treadmill to make it go faster so they could get on down the line. So I don't know where they getting these ideas from. I'm just saying. But then they talked about how the UK press behaved after Harry and Meghan was married. But they didn't cover it like, in depth because they were acting crazy, writing crazy stuff before Harry and Meghan got married. While they was just dating, Harry had to come out and say, "Stop this nonsense. Stop it." But because they were doing some crazy stuff, talking about, they got niggling feelings and straight out of Compton and gang scarred neighborhood where Megan's mother is supposed to live, and her mom with her dreadlocks and a her nose ring supposed to be sitting down with tea with our queen, our royal family. Yeah, they was writing some nasty stuff before they got married. And they only, when the world started paying attention with the wedding, they stopped. And then when the world's attention turned away again, here they come with it. They did. It was more of the nonsense. So it says this: never would we imagine what we saw in the UK press after they married. It says, never would we have imagined what we saw in the UK press after they married, which was a full court racist deluge of racial slurs, stereotypes, and mockery to the point that the royal couple sued the UK media, won, and moved to California during the pandemic and ultimately stepped away from royal duties. Now, that's a little simplified, but we all know what happened. And one day I'll go through that and break it down. But it was a little more complicated than that. But I'll tell you what, they really lost their minds. And so they kind of just go through it. But it says it's another part up in here, and it says what many don't who aren't spending their time on X or other media apps is that Meghan Markle, indeed, as she puts it, one of the most bullied women online, and both Meghan and Prince Harry have been very vocal about their mental health struggles. So much so that even our reporting or social posts on Meghan on Markle are riddled with vile, explicit, and vulgar memes and comments from people who have no chill at this point. From the comments, many think that if they trash her online, they will stop Meghan from having any branding capability. But they are wrong. Now, where is they lying? That's what they do. They have done everything that they can to try to trash her and trash anybody associated with her or anybody who says a kind word about her. So they will not partner with her. They have tried to do this from the beginning. They want her not to have the ability to make a living. They want her broke and stranded. We all saw the cartoons that they made prior to them leaving. Talk about Harry was going to be working at not Burger King, but McDonald's or outside of the castle walls, begging one of the guards for £2 or £3 or something. They were saying, yeah, they really, really thought that, and that's what they hoped. Oh, he'll be back with his legs between his tail between his legs. It is just going to end in tears, and it hasn't happened. And they're getting more and more desperate because of it. They're getting more and more vile. They're getting more and more delusional. And that's why you can't take the high road with these people. You just cannot. And I have no intentions to. I'm just saying, that's the way I feel about it. It said there are more positive comments and support from Meghan online than ever before, and it was refreshing to see many supporters united behind our outlet, standing up to their negativity. What they underestimate is the resilience of Black women to keep persevering despite those who wish to harm. Love and kindness will always outshine hate. Where did they lie? Love this magazine. Where can I get it? I love somebody who will push back. I every now and then I'll have a commenter say, "Why can't we just ignore them? or and also they have like a mute challenge, and sometimes will do a mute challenge on some things. I won't talk. They said, Kate does something, let's not talk about it. Sometimes I will do that, but that is what has happened. One reason why Megan were really feeling like she was abandoned and nobody cared is because was nobody there to push back. When the Sussy Squad was created and they really started to push back, then that is when and Harry and Meghan really felt that support to do to leave. I mean, we all saw it. You have to push back. I have said it so many times. This magazine is doing it. You have to push back. You have to push back. They depend on you not pushing back. They want their voice to be the only voice out there. You cannot do that. In the world today, it's just not feasible anymore. You have to push back. You have to meet them where they're at. I'm just saying. So yes, I love this magazine, and it talked about why it's important and how horrible these people are when Megan was out doing something for young girls, for small girls, and for teenagers, and how vulnerable this age is. And yet, and still, here you are in the comments doing exactly what they're trying to teach these girls not to do, and also how to guard themselves from this kind of behavior. And here they are in their comments. Oh, I love this about this magazine. They said, not today, not today. I got time for you. And I just love it. All right, we gonna move on because we got to keep it rolling. It is so much, it's so much. Y'all remember when I said this yesterday about Charles is snubbed by Aussie politicians ahead of his visit down under? Well, it is all the rage. Everybody is talking about it, but we all know they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. That now a lot of them are crying about it or whatnot, but they want to use distraction. They do. And I'm going to put this up. It says, and this is so true. Oh my God. When I saw this, I said, I got to put it up. It says, when Queen Elizabeth II died, many people surmised that the shutting of the coffin lid would be the start of the burial of the British monarchy. And here we have it. King Charles and his concubine, Camilla, are rejected by Australians. Obviously, Prince William is a non starter. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And I just love this for them because, like I said, they wanted to run Harry and Meghan away and then just study everything that they did down to their clothes and shoes and everything and their mannerisms and everything, and to just imprint and carbon copy everything because they felt that that's all they needed to do was to make themselves successful. Prince Harry and Meghan's tour to Australia and that balcony, that balcony scene. I'm gonna put a picture of it right here where all those people was below and Meghan and Harry was there waving. I think that was in Samoa, if I'm not mistaken. It killed them. It killed them. Everything that they saw Harry and Meghan was doing, they wanted it for themselves. They wanted it for themselves. And they would have had it if, like I said, if they had treated Meghan, you know, fairly. If they had treated her fairly and embraced her and protected her, all of the people would have loved them. It would have been such a love fest. Because people would have said, saw how they treated Meghan. They was like, you know what, Charles couldn't, he absolutely couldn't be as bad as he presents and stuff like that. It would have been definitely a whole different ball game than it is today. But they chose to be the narcissistic, self focused, self indulging people that they are. And it has blown up spectacularly in their faces. And I love that for them. I love it for them. And it's true. When Queen Elizabeth passed away and they closed that coffin lid, the monarchy started to die then because a whole lot of this was out of the respect for her. It was holding on out of respect for her. Charles has no respect because he hadn't garnered any respect. He hadn't done anything for people to respect him. He is a very selfish, self indulgent, petulant man. And so is William. People see how William has treated his brother and his wife and how this family has behaved towards this woman, and they don't like it. They really, really, really just don't like it. I said this from the beginning. Harry and Meghan pulled the curtain back, and we saw this decrepit old man behind it pulling levers. And we said, is this what the monarchy is? Y'all running these checks for this? And they cannot have a successful tour. They cannot. And I must say, I love it so much. I love it. And what I love most about is Harry and Meghan has had two this year so successful. And everybody just, I mean, just won over people, and it was just wonderful. And they cannot even, Charles can't even get on the plane before they're rejecting him. And we all know what happened in Jamaica. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to put this up. It said King Charles goes to Australia on August 18th. He'll feel the rejection of an antiquated British monarchy and realize the Australians' indifference to him is driven by his dismal of his I guess is this I don't know what that word is, of his concubine Camilla Parker Bowles and her villainy towards a beloved Princess Diana. Where is the lie in that? Charles has the nerve to ride his horse all the way down to Australia, where a country loved and embraced Diana. They have tried to do everything that they could, and I have saw them on panels running uh, Diana down. After he became king, it was the goal to make Diana as small as possible, to run her down and to say how flawed she was, how she was this, how she was that, and how she doesn't deserve our loyalty. But yet and still, that is fruitless. It is it's a non-starter, just like them trying to make people hate Harry. It's a non-starter. And all of it is to try, still trying to clear the way for his concubine, still trying to clear the way for his horse so she won't throw a shoe. And it's not working. And I love that for them. I bet you that he won't see the crowds he saw with Diana. And he acted a straight up fool when he went down there with Diana. Mad because people loved his wife, they approved of his choice. And he didn't have sense enough to understand that. His level of immaturity is just mind boggling. Because I saw on the Crown, and I saw also in the panoramic Panorama interview when Diana spoke about it and said that her husband was a proud man and all this kind of stuff. And I'm saying to myself, Diana, it's not you, honey. It's not you. It's the man you married to. You was married to. A man who has a wonderful wife, who have chosen well, who brings him nothing but admiration when people think about the choice that he made for a wife and envy him for it. And all he can do is to walk around with his lip poked out and feel some kind of way about it. Feel jealous of her. You know how horrible it must be to be married to somebody who is jealous of you? But that happened to her. And Australia just hadn't, they have not forgotten about Diana and his treatment of Diana's baby. It just don't sit right with people. And when Harry and Meghan went to Australia, they embraced him like they embraced his mother. And all of the nastiness that they talk about Harry and Meghan on the television and everything is not registering. And it hadn't built them up not one bit. Because they, their strategy, tear Harry and Meghan down to build them up, but it hadn't worked. So I love this for them. And I love it for Camilla. I love it for her. That all her snake ways have not, they haven't polished her up. She still is considered the other woman, the adulteress, the side chick. And that's it. That's her, that's forever her status. And when Charles blow out his last breath, she gonna understand what the sidewalk mean because William is gonna put her out on the sidewalk. And I love that for her. I really do. Because she is an embarrassment. And people have saw her, you know. They know exactly what she's about. I'm going to put this up. It says, what the? Please tell me this is not true. The welfare entitled royals are really losing touch with reality. And this is a little thing talking about a colonist. They mad. They mad. They crying. They cannot stand rejection. They can't take it. And they have been rejected by Australia. And this columnist said, columnist, Aussies should be honored that their head of state will set foot in their country. King Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles doesn't have to visit Australia. Just because Charles is an Aussie head of state, this is no way gives the Aussie people the right to expect an appearance. At least according to the News Corp columnist, there's plenty of other Commonwealth countries he could have chosen. The crying, the bitterness, the whining. They hate being rejected. And y'all heard the News Corp. We all know who News Corp is. That's Murdoch. They mad. They mad because the Aussie people are not having it. And I just cannot wait, y'all. I am more excited about this than Harry was going to New York. I am excited. I cannot wait to see exactly what goes down. Let me put this up. It said, but titles. And what the squatty is saying, they always say Harry and Meghan's success is because of their titles. Take their titles away. Take their titles. And then they'll see they won't have anything. Take their titles away. Well, Charles is the king. He has the top hat. He has the top title. Why is it not doing him any good? Why is people are not open to what he's doing and falling all over him? Why is his tours being shunned? He's the king. And it says the Australian state leader has all turned a invitation to attend an official reception for king and queen. They don't even want to go to no reception. They said thanks, but no thanks. But yet and still, they're always screaming about taking Harry and Meghan's titles away because their titles is what makes them successful. Why is it not making Charles and Camilla successful? Why is it not making William and Kate successful in Jamaica? You know, that argument is pretty much dead in the water. And we have said it from the beginning. A squad has said, take the titles, take them away. Okay. But Harry and Meghan will continue to be successful because they are more than those titles. They just are. But I love this for them. I do. I do. And y'all, look at this. This was in the BBC where Australia sell farewell tour merch before the King's visit. It says Australia sell farewell tour merch ahead of the royal visit. They are waving goodbye to Charles, Camilla, and William, saying this is the last royal tour that will be coming to Australia. We're gonna sell some merch. How embarrassing for them. Delicious. I love it. Mm. And of course, they don't want to talk about all that. They don't want to talk about, they want to try to create a distraction. And who is best for distraction? Who do they use all the time? That will be Meghan. They don't want to talk about this. They don't want to talk about what remember we talked about this yesterday. The what is it? He is the something of Hacks. He is a minister of Hacks over on TikTok. And you remember I played y'all that sound bite with him talking about how low the engagement is with William and Kate, and when they visit Southport and she was a pop-up visitor, she came out like Megan came out. You know how Megan will lay low and then she'll come out, but Megan is just living her life. She ain't, it's no plan or plots in that. She has small children, she has a job, she has a you know, she has Archwell, she has a foundation, and so she does lend every now and then her appearance. She'll appear at different things, and it is has nothing to do with her planning to pop out and then stay out of sight because she owes people nothing. But when Kate is doing this, she is intentionally staying out of sight and she'll pop up trying to create excitement, trying to create um interest, to be honest. And so she popped out, and the minister of Hex went through it with a scientific fine tooth comb, and he came to the conclusion, or the facts indicated, that they couldn't hold on to the top spot on the Daily Mail's website. They couldn't hold on to it for 2 hours as long as that story stayed at the top of the phone on dailymail.com. But yet and still, Megan's red dress is probably still, people still engaging with it. And I showed y'all yesterday where just on one website, the e-news website, it had almost 10 million views, and I'm sure it's past 10 million now. Do you know what William and Kate would do for that kind of engagement? Whew, what they have done for that kind of engagement, but they hadn't received it because pretty much they sold their soul to the devil and decided to destroy Well, William decided to try to destroy his brother and his sister-in-law just to get that kind of engagement, trying to be the number one. And it had just hadn't happened for them because they're boring. That's all I'm saying. Also, uh, I wanted to talk about uh, every time they try to use Meghan as a distraction. And it is two stories that come out in the Daily Fail today. One is about, what's his name? Mike Tindall. I'm going to put this up. And so Mike Tindall is saying this. He's saying Tindall defends the royal family following Harry and Meghan's attacks. They were always nice to me. That's what he's saying. That the royal family was always nice to him. And this particular squatty said a white man marries into the British royal family says that he was made welcome. Big whoop. Are you surprised that a white man is welcomed by white people? Now try that as a black woman. A white man is not a black woman. Social equivalence. And what attacks? That's what I want to know when they talk about attacks. What attacks? The truth? I have never saw people consider the truth attacks. I have said this time and time again. If you want people to speak better of you, speak well of you, treat them well. When people are telling the truth about you and it doesn't come out very good, it's because you didn't treat them well. I have never saw people who expect you to speak well of them and they have treated you like garbage. It's not a tax. But yeah, Mike Tindall is out here running off at the mouth and talking about how when he married into the royal family, Zara, that he was welcome. Well, Zara was not Harry, and we all know that. And it is a whole lot different when you are marrying the most popular royal that it is. Harry was more popular than the Queen. And he chose not an English rose, he chose a black woman from America. And he chose a highly intelligent black woman from America. And he chose an American. They had a bigger problem with, I think, and y'all tell me if y'all feel different. I think they had a bigger problem with her being American than they did her being black. Now, William had more of a problem with her being American. Well, we all know Kitty Cat, she had more of a problem with her being black because she is a very snooty, racist person. So, of course, she did. Of course, she did. But yeah, so he's out here peddling this nonsense, talking about how somehow he was welcome and he just don't understand why Meghan would. Let's get into the article and we'll talk about it. But I want to talk about this first. I had forgot I had this. Put this up. This is Mike Tindall. Let's talk a little about Mike Tindall for a little bit. This squatty wrote this. It said Mike Tindall, who publicly cheated on his wife Zara. Did we forget about that? A few months before their marriage. And after the marriage, while on tour with the English rugby team, who caught kissing and going to a hotel with another woman. Y'all remember that? They got him on video doing that. I think this happened down in Australia too. I do believe this is where it happened. Who publicly was grabbing and pulling another woman who didn't really work. Who doesn't really work. Who for the last year has been getting loans because he is in debt. This squad is going in. She been all up in his business. She went in one side of his business and came out of the other. I love it. It said it's writing on his book how it was easy to marry into the royal family and how accepted he was. Of course, it was easy for you. You are a loser. Who cares about you? Where is the lie? He was not someone that was a threat to them. Mike Tindall is what you would call a meathead. That's what he is. He is no threat to nobody. If Mike Tindall hadn't have been able to play rugby, he would have been one of those people on the side of the street trying to sell baseball caps, or he would have probably been your local garbage man, or he probably would have been the person who asked you, did you want fries with that Coke? That Mike Tindall. And I'm not saying that those people are not very, very intelligent people, but he's not. He's not. He would be there because he have to. It's people who work those jobs are there because they want to be. But he would have to be there. That's all I'm saying. It says you still live in a house paid for by Princess Anne. He live in a house that Princess Anne bought and paid for. You are kidding me. I'm learning something. It says, seriously, what a joke. Nobody cares about you. You weren't going to overshadow anyone with your beauty or charisma. Here's some pictures of Mike Tindall kissing another woman 7 weeks after marrying Zara. There is a whole video where they are leaving together, holding hands. And this is the person trying to tell and give advice to Meghan. If Meghan had done any of that, she would have been branded totally. I don't even know if she would have been able to survive it. But this man did all of this and then want to try to tell us this meathead. This meathead. Archie Bunker used to say a meathead is somebody who is dead from the neck up. And where's the lie in that? I don't think it is one. And we all know, I'm gonna put some pictures up here. We all know how they participated in bullying him and Zara did of Meghan, because this right here is the 2022 Christmas Carol. And it was during the time Meghan and Harry's documentary came out. And I think maybe it was his documentary or Spare. I can't remember. I think it was a documentary where Meghan said that she didn't wear colors. It was a documentary that she didn't wear a whole lot of colors because of the senior royals would wear the color she wanted to blend in, and the last engagements that she had, she wanted to be like a rainbow. Y'all remember that? And the Christmas came and they did this nonsense. And he participated in that nonsense, the bullying of Meghan, him and Zara, as Byron calls her, the tongue ring Tundle, Zara the tongue ring Tundle. Now I say that a lot of times to see don't your mouth get twisted. And yeah, and here they are with the Militants. Oh, Pippa with her social clientele. If I was her husband, I would really feel some kind of way knowing that pretty much she is there for the money. She is there for the money. Because if he had no money, he would have no Pippa. And that's pretty much the way that whole family is, that Middleton family. And still be broke. I don't understand that. But yeah, they all wore this burgundy and all this kind of stuff to try to somehow throw shade on Meghan and bully Meghan. But how has that worked out for y'all? I'm just saying, how has it worked out? And yeah, here another picture of them. This is William. Look at him. He even got his bright burgundy tie. They really thought they was in their element then. Ooh, 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 ooh. We just gonna bully Megan. Well, it ain't turned out so good. It really hadn't, because look what we got now. That's the way they looked then. This is the way they look now. And when I looked at this picture, you know who it reminded me of? I'm gonna put the picture up. Now, if you know, you know. I'm just gonna say that. If you know, you know. But it is Ma and Pa Kettle. They look like Ma and Pa Kettle to me. These people are aging like a clock that is broken and is going on fast forward. I have never saw people age like this. But yet and still they want to try to give advice to Meghan or Harry. I always got something to say about Meghan and Harry, and totally ignoring these people right here. Do they not see is something going on? I was looking at their body language and when they was up at Southport. And I'm gonna put this up. Oh, this is them walking in. Tell me these people don't look like they are just business associates. This is the way you walk into a meeting with a business associate. They don't look like they husband and wife, or they care anything for each other whatsoever. And then look at her, and I'm gonna be a body language expert right now. Look at her looking at him while he's talking. All right, hold that. Put a pin in it. I'm gonna put this one up. But look at him, what he's doing while she's talking. He's totally not paying her any attention. He is somewhere in Hawaii, somewhere in his mind. Look at the difference. She's just talking and he is looking straight ahead and not paying any attention. He doesn't give her what she gives him. And that's respect. He does not respect her, because people who you respect, when you see how Harry and Meghan, when Harry is talking, Meghan is looking at him with that loving look. And when Meghan is talking, Harry is looking at her. Look at him. He's not looking at her. I know she mumbles and everything like that, but at least she is his wife. I'm just saying. And like I said, while they have all of that over there, they want to do is focus on Harry and Meghan. Like I said, with this story about uh uh Mike Tindall talking about he was welcomed in and all this kind of stuff, but we already done blew up his spot. But here is the God, I can't even think. Here is the article. That's the word I'm looking for. Here's the article. And it said Mike Tindall reveals what marrying into the royal family has really like, casting doubt on Meghan's claim. How in the world is it casting doubt on Meghan's claim when her and Mike Tindall is two different people? Mike Tindall is not a threat to them whatsoever. And Mike Tindall is a bootlicker. He walked into there just thinking to high heaven that they had threw him a bone, that Zara had actually married him, but he still cheated on her. And we all saw, I think too, it was another incident when he was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. He was up there pawing on some woman. I don't know if it was a contestant or something like that. He can't keep his hand to himself. He cannot. He is a classic meathead. He is that. So here, this is what, and I'll read a little bit of it. It said Mike Tindall has revealed he found joining the royal family easy and insisted it was all down to him being nice to them. Well, we all know that Meghan was nice to them also, and they tried to destroy her. It's not just being down to being nice to them. You have to be a complete and absolute loser like he is. Somebody who is zero threat to them. So the scorpions do not have to bite you. And that's what Mike Tindall is. He's no threat to anybody. And plus, look who he's marrying. He marrying somebody so far down the line. Who cares about Zara? I saw a woman on a panel talking about how they keep talking about how they need help in the royal family, and they be bringing up different names and said they be talking about Mike and Tyndall and Zara. And she said, "Who in the hell is Zara?" That was in her own country on the Jeremy Vine show. So what is he talking about? He just trying to get some money. And when people write books and they trying to get money and they trying to get clout and they trying to get exposure, who do they talk about first? Harry and Meghan. Even the former prime minister of this little island nation could not sell his books on his own. His first excerpts from his book was about Harry and Meghan. Anybody who has had a conversation or said hello to Meghan and or Harry or both, and if they write a book, they are going to write something about Harry and Meghan, and the excerpts are going to be about Harry and Meghan because all they want to do is clout chase. And this is what this person is doing, trying to clout chase, trying to sell a book because evidently he has no money. He has no money. Every time you turn around, Zara is selling some clothes or some furniture or something. And they always talk about Megan, so Megan can't have her lifestyle brand, but Zara, that's all she does is sell stuff. And Peter Phillips was over there hawking milk at one time. That's her brother. I mean, it is the most ridiculous thing that I have ever heard of, but yet and still. It says in a new interview in the Telegraph to promote his upcoming book, The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby. Now, that title right there tells you he's a meathead. He has an IQ of about 7. The good, the bad, and the rugby. Really? It says unleashed with James Haskell and Alex Payne, the former rugby player, said joining the royal family was simply simple, really. Like because you don't have any intellect. You look like a refrigerator. It's no way that you was gonna look better, be smarter, be more popular, or any of the things that Megan was. I mean, he has zero personality, and he's a cheater. But yet and still, he want to try to compare himself to Megan and use her to try to sell books. It's that former English rugby star who is married to the King Charles' niece Zara. See, they have to tell you who she is because nobody know who Zara is. I'm telling you, the woman in her own country said, whoever the hell is Zara. So they always be saying this is a secret weapon. This one and that one use the Tindalls or whatever Zara. She said whoever Zara is, they have to explain to you who Zara is. But you can just say Harry and Meghan. They don't even need those titles. I'm just saying. And how in the world? Of course, it was simple for you because they didn't even know you were there. They only time they really know that he's there is when he show up, and they will. Oh, I'm telling you, Zara and him are there for everything. They are there for everything. They want to be seen at everything. If Charles or William open an envelope, they are dressed and standing ready for the opening. I'm just saying. And it says in a new interview with the Telegraph to promote his upcoming book, The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby. That is such a dumb title. And I talked about that. It said in the book, which is set to be released the 24th of August, Mike, 45. And I'm going to put a picture of him. 40, if this is the way 45 look, whew, I'm just saying. Recall joining the royal family after marrying Princess Anne's daughter, Zara, in 2011. He wrote, believe it or not, marrying into the royal family was pretty easy for me. They were always nice to me, and I was always nice to them. Simple, really. Yeah, okay. And pretty much this is all. He ain't got nothing to add because he don't even really know them like that. They don't associate with him. And I tell you what, I wish I could see exactly what kind of house him and Zara got. They all live in poverty. The only people who really live well is Charles and William, the heir and the, I mean the not the heir and the spare, but the sovereign and the heir. The rest of them live in poverty. We saw Princess Anne living room. You remember when they came in and filmed her watching some kind of rugby uh, match or some kind of sporting match, and that house looked like a hoarder's house. They look like something that should be on A&E in an episode of The Hoarders. None of them live well. But yet and still, they want to talk. All they want the trappings, meaning to stand up there on the balcony, to walk in and out of St. Paul's Church or something like that. Any little bone that's thrown to them, they are happy with it. And to use their royal connection so people can feel some kind of way about them. And that's what it is with Mike Tindall, but he's an idiot. He really is. And here's a picture of him and Zara. And I don't know which one. If she wasn't wearing a dress, I wouldn't know which was the man and which was the woman. I'm just saying, cause she got a manly face on. I'm just saying. Whew, I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. And he tried to pretend like he's so close to William and George and all them. Bless his heart. What a dope. Um, what a dope. He is a dope. And I'm gonna put this picture up. This is him with a top hat on. And his head so big, that meat head is so big, the hat is just sitting on the tip top. If if he walked too fast, that hat coming off. I'm just saying. Y'all don't get me started up here. I could go on for days. And also I wanted to talk to you about this doctor. They even had this doctor to write this article about Meghan, and I'm gonna put it up here. It says, "Why is this photo of Meghan fills me with such sadness, and I think she should go it alone," by Dr. Max Pemberton. If it makes you feel sad, she should go it alone. They want to separate Harry and Meghan so bad. They do. Talking about she should go it alone. Now they look at, okay, I'm gonna put a picture up of Kate and Megan. And they look at this woman over here and they look at Megan and say it makes her sad, it makes him sad. What about Kate? I look at that picture of Kate and it makes me sad too. It makes me sad that she didn't go ahead on and have that facelift like we thought she did. I'm just saying. But let's get into this article a little bit because my iPad is running out of steam, and so is this is going long. It says, "Why the photograph of Megan fills me with such sadness, and I think she should go it alone," by Dr. Max Pemberton. Looking at the picture of Prince Harry on his recent trip to Lesotho, I couldn't help but to feel wistful. The old Harry, the one that public fell in love with, seemed to be back. He laughed, he joked, he charmed everyone with his cheeky smile and mischievous twinkle in his eye. What is lost, that version of him, is to us and the royal family. As his wife Meghan undertakes an engagement thousands of miles away in California, I had a feeling of sadness towards her too, but in a different for different reasons. uh what it said, while her husband Sean, she looked lost, uncomfortable, and despite the crowds and the cameras, rather alone when she was attending a children's hospital fundraiser. As a former jobbing um, actress, Megan would have known only too well to and how brutally harsh and fickle the world of celebrity can be. She may have experienced that crushing feeling of queuing at the premiere or the party, waiting for it, wanting to be interviewed, only to be cut short when someone more interested appeared behind her. Who would that be, Doc? Would that be? I wonder who would be that. Because Megan was up and down and all around um, that red carpet. I don't know what is he talking about? And talking about somebody more interested on the red carpet, and most almost felt like she was back there. It was a huge shift from her time as working member of the Royal, when she was always the guest of honor, always the one everyone was there to see. These people are crazy. Lots of people have commented on how stepping away from the glitz and the pomp of the royal family has seen the Sussex celebrity status taking a nosedive. But for me, the far greater tragedy is how the social isolation must have diminished their lives. These people are crazy. You hear me? They are totally out of their Lululemon mind. And I am not going to go any further with this, because all of this is just made up nonsense trying to convince and gaslight the citizens of the United Kingdom into believing that uh, Harry and Meghan are somehow diminished. If you had watched it with your eyes, that red carpet, you would have saw Meghan was taking picture with families, with little children, with her friend, by herself, with the CEO. I didn't see anybody else taking a picture with the CEO. She sat at the CEO's table with Jimmy Kimmel and his wife. How are you diminished when you're sitting with the top person, the CEO of the LA Children's Hospital? It's just ridiculous. These people are crazy. You know, I just don't even understand. I'll tell you what, I have went a little long. I said we were going to reminisce about Harry and Meghan when they went on their Australia and Oceanic tour. We're going to do that tomorrow. I might do it on a pop up. I'm just saying, and then come back later that evening. But I don't have time now. I have talked too much. I'm sorry, y'all. I talked too much to get to it. But I want to put this up. I want to put this up. My favorite picture of Kate. I'm telling you, I see right into her soul. I do. And it says, Megan, ruin my life by having a work ethic. And of course, I'm gonna put up this because you know if you mess with Harry and Meghan, we'll eat your face off. Such a squad, we'll eat your face off. All right, y'all. I'm sorry I went long and I didn't get to reminisce about Harry and Meghan's Oceanic tour, but I promise I'll do a pop up about it tomorrow, and we'll talk about it. We're gonna chit chat about it and drag them about it. All right, then. Talk to y'all later. Bye.